Hello, Zaandarbrows, and welcome back to a spoiler review
Welcome, everyone.
Spider-Man No Way Home. Thank you,
Hell
Santa
yeah,
Claus.
the movie event of the year. It was freaking amazing, fantastic. I loved everything about it.
Just remember, if you haven't seen the movie, click away from this video and come back when you've
please.
seen it.
This is like a spoiler-full review. Like, there's going to be spoilers for everything that happens in the movie, so please, this is your warning now to click away from the video, because I don't want us to be like, to get like comments of people saying that they got spoiled, even though we are warning you now. Spoilers.
This has to be my favorite Marvel movie ever right now, because my favorite movie was Doctor Strange, and then it was Infinity War, but now it's just Spider-Man, because this concluded like 3 trilogies of Spider-Man for me that got cancelled. So here we are, we finally got my childhood everything it needed. I honestly thought that they were just gonna have Peter deal with the spell that he did with Doctor Strange for most of the movie, and he pretty much did. But I was not expecting for the villains to be supporting characters. I thought they were just going to be cameos.
And the thing about this movie is, like with each Spider-Man movie, I love them all for what they did for the different eras of my life, because I just love Spider-Man movies. And so, like, as a kid, I loved the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies because my dad took me to go see them. I saw Amazing Spider-Man on my own, and like I love the nostalgia factor of like all of them being in this movie, and I thought that was just incredible. But I think the main key point I loved about this movie was the development for Tom Holland's Spider-Man, because like while the Sam Raimi and the Andrew Garfield like movies have their own like good points, I never felt like Andrew or Tobey really fully captured Spider-Man, and Tom Holland did all of it for me. Like, I feel like he was a great Peter Parker, but also a great Spider-Man personality-wise. But my gripes with the MCU Spider-Man movies up until this point was that Spider-Man is like a very personal hero that deals with personal stakes and puts so much energy towards things that affect New York specifically, not like the whole world. Like he, like Aunt May's line about with great power comes great responsibility hits so much harder, knowing that Spider-Man is like this hero that sacrifices so much in his own personal life for like the greater good of just like everyone in New York. So I feel like with Aunt May's death in this movie and all the stakes and the transformation that Peter went through, I feel like this was like his initiation to be just like a full-fledged Spider-Man characters, and all the problems that I've had with the MCU's depiction of Spider-Man were completely just like, now Tom Holland out of all 3 of the Spider-Man is probably like my favorite depiction so far.
You know, here's a drinking game. Take a shot every time something doesn't go Peter's way.
Yeah. Literally.
I honestly thought he was going to lose everyone he loved and then he would have to reverse time, but he didn't have to do that, because I was honestly going to think that Andrew and Tobey were going to be like cameos as well. I wasn't expecting them to also be supporting characters for Spider-Man. They did a really good job on that, because they actually questioned how each other's Spider-Man works, because Tobey's one was the only one who was able to use like fluid Spider-Man.
Yeah, not like actual
juices,
like
not
contraptions and machines and stuff. Which like they like in the comic book universe of Spider-Man, they've definitely done both. So it was really fun getting that interaction between all of them. And I also really loved that Tobey and Andrew's depictions of Spider-Man in this movie weren't like just like some one-off joke thing where like they said like a couple of lines and they left or whatever. It was more of just like they were actually supporting characters, and you got like all of their personalities in this film, and like it was so nice seeing all the differences between them, but since they're all Peter Parker, all the similarities between them too, and how they kind of played off of each other. And it was funny like with like the certain things of like Andrew and Tobey like not knowing about the Avengers, because the Sam Raimi and the and the other trilogy of Spider-Man didn't really like depict any other hero stories besides Spider-Man, so like they don't know any of that other stuff. So it was just really cool, and like seeing like the other Spider-Man get like redemption and resolution in some way. Like, for example, how like Andrew couldn't save Gwen Stacy, but when MJ was falling off of the building, he was able to.
That was my
save
favorite
her.
moment.
Oh yeah, the fact that he was able to save her and like have that sort of like redemption, and you see him like almost cry at the end because he was able to save someone. Like it was really impactful.
Our theater was cheering when that happened.
Yeah, and I think that's what made the whole experience like even more amazing was that like our theater experience was just so much fun because you could tell that it was all these people that from childhood loving Spider-Man and seeing all these movies growing up leading up to this point where we got a movie that kind of encapsulates and celebrates Spider-Man as a character and also giving us that like nostalgia and that fun lightheartedness with it. I really, really enjoyed everything about it. I really, really did. And the cool thing was too, was the scene with Doctor Strange undoing or trying to undo the multiverse like splitting apart and stuff, and Peter making the resolution of like I'm gonna have everybody like forget me and stuff. Like seeing all like the villains,
Rhino, Scorpion,
and yeah, like all those references and all those like other villains. Like I thought that was really, really cool, and it's and I feel like it's also only further developing Peter into like such a great hero because now with everybody forgetting who he is, like he's isolated and alone and like having to do everything by himself, and now he made his suit with a sewing machine. So like I'm really excited to see where his story goes from.
I really like his sewing machine suit because I heard in an interview that he missed having the ripped suit because it showed the emotion in the fight, and that's probably why he had the new suit at the end.
Oh yeah,
and I was kind of worried when he was carrying Doc Ock because I thought he was going to turn, but it was actually the Goblin that was turned, and that always got me. Like Green Goblin is pretty much Smeagol and Golem.
Oh yeah.
At one point, I thought it was like a demon possessing him, but it was like somehow he got the green machine.
And can I just say,
separate person of him?
Yeah, no, yeah, and can I just say that like out of all of the performances in this movie, I feel like with the villains, Willem Dafoe did the best job. He was freaking incredible as Green Goblin. Like, it felt like no time had passed between, like, that first Spider-Man movie up until now. Like, he just did such an incredible job.
This was Spider-Man 4.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. It was Spider-Man 4 in its own way. And going back to what he said about, like, the damaged suit, I think my favorite scene in the entire movie was after Peter loses Aunt May and he loses the fight with Green Goblin and all that stuff. Seeing him, that shot where he's just like in the rain, bruised and damaged and shit like that, and just like crying along with the rain, I feel like that was like the turning point for me where it was just like, this is like a real Spider-Man story. This is like an incredible turning point for Tom Holland's character because it like solidifies that like he's made it this far and like is a Spider-Man now.
Like everyone, I liked how Toby and Andrew were like, oh, you lost Aunt May, I'm sorry. How did you know that I was going to say great responsibility? That's what Uncle Ben said to me, and that's pretty much what Uncle Ben said to me too. Who'd you lose? I lost my MJ, my Gwen Stacy, and they all got along over their losses.
Yeah, that's the thing, is that they all just had something to like bond over and like help each other out with, because like I feel like having the two Peters alongside him too from the other universe like really helped him not go down that deep dark path of like just wanting revenge and wanting to kill Green Goblin, because he was like about to, and if it wasn't for Toby stepping in, then like
I was scared they were gonna kill Toby when they stabbed him.
Yeah,
and I'm like, oh wait, they've been stabbed millions of times before.
And you gotta, because I also love that way that was filmed, because it made you remember like, hey, like he really is not gonna die just easily by that, but like you still held your breath like he was going to, because like he's still Spider-Man. He's not gonna die by just like one stab wound, but you still held your breath.
Imagine if Harry Osborn, James Franco showed up at one point, because Ned was like, I promise I won't turn into a villain and try to kill you.
Yeah. And this movie also did confirm a lot of really exciting things for Spider-Man. Like, I love that Electro that scene with Electro talking to Spider-Man.
I thought you were gonna be black.
Yeah, he's like with like the part of town that you're helping. I thought that you were like a black guy and you were gonna like you were helping people that way and like that I could relate to.
There's
you
gotta be a black Spider-Man out there somewhere.
Yeah, and it's just like
Miles
and it
Morales.
just it's literally confirming that Miles Morales is coming at some point. I don't know exactly when, but my prediction is that eventually, kind of like in the Spider-Man like PS4 games, that that Tom Holland Spider-Man's eventually going to find Miles, and you're going to see part of his story as like a regular person until he gets bit by the spider, and they eventually like work together too.
And can we just talk about Daredevil?
Oh yeah! Oh my God, Matthew Murdock being in this freaking movie. And
Hi, I'm your lawyer.
it's so good because like
wasn't the Netflix show canceled or something?
Yeah, and so like I really hope that confirms that like we're getting Daredevil back, because Daredevil is that same way of Spider-Man of just like being a very personal hero that does it out of the love of the place that he's from. So
we don't need to talk about Iron Fist. We can talk about Daredevil though.
Yeah.
On that note, we have a special guest joining us. Hello.
Hello.
You are in our review. Please, welcome.
Please enlighten us on how you feel.
And share us your tears on this movie. We just talked about Daredevil making an appearance and how the other Peters talked about May's death with Peter about Uncle Ben. So that's where we're at right now. How are you?
Yeah, I don't even know where the fuck to begin. Okay. One thing that I wish happened in the movie, I wish Mr. Dinkovich was Peter's landlord.
Yeah, that would have been really good
like,
callback.
it just has a note that says rent on it.
Yeah.
Like, just that one line would have been good, but nope.
Yeah. I still feel like we really did get like a lot of really, really good stuff, and I just really can't wait for everything that's going to happen.
I'm really excited for what is it, Doctor Strange 2, because the end credit scene with Wanda.
Oh yeah, the Multiverse of Madness is going to go completely insane, and then the whole thing with Venom 2, like leaving behind a symbiote. So that means that like I think what they're going to do with Tom Holland's like Spider-Man is that they're going to make Flash actually have Venom.
Oh my God, he's gonna be Eddie Brock.
I think that's what they're gonna do with this universe.
Can I just say that Tobey Maguire's Flash would beat the crap out of this Flash?
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's another thing about their universes that are different. He's more of just like.
Honest, that could make sense though, because there's like rumors going around that Andrew Garfield might be getting his third Amazing Spider-Man movie.
Yeah.
And then there's also rumors that he could be crossing over with Tom Hardy's Venom, and I guess that would make sense because it is Sony Spider-Verse, so maybe.
Yeah.
I don't really know, to be honest with you.
This is just turning into like a whole multiverse of madness with all the Spider-Man.
Yeah.
I'm really glad that no one got actually arrested. They only got interrogated, but I was kind of hoping for them all to get arrested and Doctor Strange to be their lawyer, but having Daredevil be their lawyer still brought a tear to my eye.
It was so good. It was a great way to introduce Matt Murdock again.
So, you all are gonna hate me for this, but I've never actually seen Daredevil.
Oh, it's so good.
It is
so good.
amazing. It's literally like Batman, but better.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to watch it, especially when Kingpin got confirmed for Hawkeye. So I know that Kingpin is in the Daredevil show. So
yeah, to put it frankly, Daredevil is a very underrated hero. Like in the comic books, like Daredevil goes like toe to toe with Wolverine and actually like wins the fight. So he's definitely like a really cool hero to like look into, because he does a lot of really, really cool stuff.
And he's blind while doing it.
Yeah.
I know, right? He just caught a brick like behind his back when he's blind. I'm like, whoa, this guy's good, I guess.
He's a really good lawyer.
And I think the most interesting part about Daredevil is that, like, him being blind, like, it enhances a lot of stuff for him, but it also really does actually cause him problems, and I think with all the issues that Matt has to go through, it kind of makes him a more compelling hero. So I feel like that's another reason why Daredevil is such a good thing to watch.
Yeah.
One thing I'm a little confused about is how come Sandman, like, never, like, went back to his human form, like, he was, like, all covered in sand the entire movie.
I honestly think it's because they couldn't get the actor. Like, it looked like the same CGI that they used in 3 when he turned.
They did get the same actor back, like, it's his voice, but I just don't know if he was, like...
Yeah, they probably had,
yeah.
like, some kind of scheduling conflict with, like, him physically being there, but they used a lot of his, like... They got, like, voiceovers and stuff
Yeah,
like that. Most
like him and the lizard, Dr. Cotters.
Yeah.
Were, like, the two that didn't change form.
Yeah.
Yeah, because if you look closely, like, when they get cured and they change back to their normal form, it looks like they literally took, like, pieces from Spider-Man 3 and the Amazing Spider-Man 1
Yeah.
of, like, them changing back. It's
Right.
Yeah.
Did they really, like, redo that, or, I don't know.
Yeah, some of it was kind of weird, I'm not gonna
Yeah.
lie.
But other than that, my favorite part of the movie is still when all 3 Spider-Mans hug at the end.
Yeah, that was...
That was one of my favorite
Yeah.
scenes. I needed that. But,
Yeah.
well, that is pretty much our review. We caught you at the midway point of this, towards the end, but glad you could join us.
Thank you for coming, Knife Stalker.
As always, subscribe to Knife Stalker, link in description below.
Mm-hmm.
And as always, subscribe to Zaandarbrow, link right here.
Mm-hmm.
And follow Chris on Instagram.
Quesadilla cosplay.
Make sure to follow us on Twitch and go to Zaandarbrow.com to get some more merch. Thank you guys for not
Thank you
spoiling.
for watching, guys.
Don't spoil this movie for anyone. As always, bye.
Bye.
See you next year. Ahaha.